Hey there, UKDCers. Very exciting one today. This is one I've been looking at getting for a long time, and actually had to sell one of my Hinderers in order to partially fund. I sold the slicer because it's essentially the same grind. You'll note I didn't get away with it. Oh well, it happens. So there's the item. Get a little bit of desiccant in there. You get your standard Thumbdisk assembly and the packing slip. So I got number 1639. These are of course all individually numbered. They're a limited thing. I was going to try and get it off of Heine, but they sold out well before I could get it. Oh, that looks lovely, that does. Okay, so let's... Oh, they've got the updated, much smaller sticker. They used to have the big old green one that barely fit in there. Yeah, that's a much nicer, much smaller sticker, but I'll keep that one because I've already stuck the other one up somewhere. So yeah, ostensibly it's the same, you know. It's a box, I guess. And then you get your lovely... This is the bronze anodized Thumbdisk, which is very nice. Usually it's just that one. Even on the DLC one, it's just the, which is a bit of a shame really on the DLC, but oh yeah, it's right here. So I'm very much a fan of this Thumbdisk. I know some people actually really hate it, but personally I think it's wonderful. I really like being able to adjust that, and I like having the option as well. There we go, that's nice and tight. Just gently wiggle that out. There we go. Get rid of all that. And there she is. So, before I even open it, yep, nicely centered. Oh, it's very light, I tell you, because of the wood, I guess, and it's what, the titanium liners. Oh, look at that! I've got to say, I'm a huge fan of the hardware versus. So my big gripe on the Spanto was I wanted to get it all blacked out, but all the hardware's still silver, so I ended up going with this configuration. But on this one, look at that wonderful hardware. Look at the finish on those. My goodness, I can just get some more, like even more light over here. God, that is some pretty stuff right there. Oh, we've gone back to the... Got the smooth, like smoothing on the things here, whereas they're all like that on these ones. Got the jimping here that I guess is, meaningless when you've got these bits, but oh well. I will be switching that over to, of course, tip up carry. Any blade play? Nope, absolutely solid as a rock. Really well done. And I was quite interested in looking at that carefully because someone mentioned they got one of these and it wasn't great. But like I said, I've got to say, I can only speak from what I've got, but that's just spot on, absolutely spot on there. There's no blade play, it feels great. This has blade wrap. Oh, that's not good. Can you see that huge chunk out of the edge there? No, come on, come back. Just there, that huge chunk that's just out. No, I'm going to have to sharpen that all fucking down now. And look, if you look in there, can you see where it's been contacting? You can actually see the little mark where it's been hitting. Okay, yeah, I'm not cool with that. That is pretty poor. I don't have that on any of these, so we're going to take this apart. I wasn't going to bother because I've already taken apart all the other ones, but we're going to find out why it's doing that. If there's not a stop pin in here, or if the stop pin's been forgotten to put in, or what. But so here we are today, a week later, and I have a response from Hinderer after asking them for the stop pin that they didn't send me and a replacement pivot after having mangled theirs, trying to figure out what was wrong. They said they were very, very sorry for the missing stop pin and are going to send me one straight away. Fantastic. However, they don't send out pivots. You have to send them back the knife if you want a new pivot, which is that sort of sucks. But before we dive into all of that, let's talk about what's happening with this first. So, stop pin. It's currently using the Spanto stop pin because I'm EDCing this for review at the moment, so it needs a proper stop pin. This has a stop pin that I custom made out of an old kit that I use for vaping. It's just the end of this sort of fits, and that's just enough to stop the blade spine whacking. The soft steel though, so I don't really trust it long term, so that's why this has got the Spanto stop pin and Spanto's got the placeholder. So there you go. The pivot, oh boy did I mangle that pivot. Here's a little video of it before I got round to repairing it. Now have a look at this pivot screw. How are humans supposed to undo that without stripping it? Well, the thing is, they aren't. According to this Blade forum thread, Rick has gone all Medford with his slippies in the sense that he doesn't want anyone to undo the pivot at all. You can take off the scales, of course. All you need to do is these three this side, this pocket clip, this like tab, filler tab, and there's another one of these T6s under here. To be clear, I wasn't going to disassemble this one, but I had to make sure there was no stop pin, because see in this picture, there's a picture of my sheep foot, my slicer and my Spanto all in a line, and you can see the sheep's foot and the slicer have a hidden stop pin, and the Spanto is actually the only one with a visible one from without disassembling the knife. So before I shot off a message to Hinderer saying it's missing a stop pin, I wanted to be sure that it wasn't one of the hidden styles, but it wasn't. So there you go. For reference, since I did end up disassembling it fully, here's a picture of it in pieces with the Spanto stop pin next to it. Don't disassemble it though, for goodness sake. Yeah, it's, I don't know why they're being so liberal with the red Loctite, but it's not going to happen. So, of the four I've disassembled, this one has finally got me, and since they aren't going to replace my pivot unless I pay shipping to them, and then these ungodly import fees when it comes back again, I've had to work something else out. The sheep's foot is my beta Hinderer anyway, so that's got my beaten up pivot, and you can sort of see here, it's really not great. It's just alright. That was, you know, you've seen what this looked like. So I had to I put it in a drill into the chuck, tighten that up, and then that became sort of like a makeshift handheld lathe, and then I just pushed that into a sharpening stone, and I had to redo the inner chamfering there and the outer chamfering, you can see, because I'd flattened it so much to get it even again and get all the scratches out, and it's really not great, but it's alright, it'll do. So that's what's happening with that one, and I think that looks fine on there. You know, you can see on the other side it's got the anno from the vintage, so I should have really got that off, but I couldn't be bothered. So this one was actually the sheepsfoot's one, and as you can see, it turned out rather nicely. It's there's a video in the corner here of how easy it is to flame anno. It's the first colour, so as long as you don't go past that, because blue's after that, and you don't want it to be blue. I also had to do these two because they had gone silver after rubbing in my pocket, pulling this in and out. So in the final review, you're probably going to see these silver again, but for the moment, they're the right colour. And also, you'll remember this, the actual like pivot itself was really balked. You can still see some damage to the wood, but yeah, I managed to re-anno that as well, and it's a little bit too dark, but it's fine otherwise. Either way, that all looks lovely now. So yeah, there you go. So so look, I still love the knife. It has its flaws, I've already noticed. It's got some minor blade rub. You can see there, just like starting to take off the parkerized coating and it rubbing there. So that's not ideal. And the anno rubbing off the other side of this where it goes in and out of the pocket, but it works great, it fits the hand great. I love the style, I really like the wood. I think this looks amazing. It really does look like, you know, properly nice and vintage. Some colleagues have mentioned it looks real fancy. The steel, the 01 tool steel, is really easy to sharpen, thank God. I'm not going to pretend that this doesn't suck a bit though. Another pricey knife with issues out of the box. This is, by the way, why I record me opening the package ever since my EOS Urchin calamity. You know, I've always wanted to, you know, just be able to prove that that's how it comes. Personal feelings aside though, there aren't many companies that would have behaved differently. Medford, Chris Reeve Knives at least, would have you return the knife to replace the pivot. Spyderco is different, but I guess those guys are just cool. No judgments until my final review. I mean, obviously I like it somewhat already, because otherwise I'd have just sent it back, but you know, that will have to factor into my final review. You know, it not being disassemblable really, and you know, you having to send it back to America to get parts replaced like the pivot. So yeah, that'll factor in. So there's that already. You know, and the couple of flaws I've noticed, but I'm not going to pretend like I don't really enjoy carrying this knife. So we'll keep carrying it. We'll see how bad that blade rub gets. We'll see how quickly these de-anno. I mean, I've only had it a week, so I guarantee they'll be de-annoed by the time I finally, whenever the full review of this comes up. It'll be after that stop pin arrives though, definitely. I will see how quickly that arrives. But yeah, yeah, it's just something that happens. It's not great, but mistakes happen. You know, they just, you know, happen to me quite a lot. So there we go. There's the Slippy. First impressions. Thank you very much for watching. Cheers.